All right, we're going to go into spoilers now, man. So if any of you guys have not watched Thunderbolts yet, leave the stream. We're going to be talking a little bit about spoilers. Okay, that's your final warning. Spoilers in 3, 2, 1. Taskmaster is fucking dead. That's hilarious. That's pretty funny. So she just dies. Like in the first, I don't think she has a 3-minute scene. She dies in 3 minutes. Gets shot in the head. Dies. John Walker and Ghost, they pick her body off. You know, with like ammo and guns and stuff. So I thought that was kind of funny because a lot of the Marvel community don't like what they did to Taskmaster. Why can't I say that word today? Taskmaster. They don't like what they did to her. Is that warranted? I don't know. But the thing I loved about that, yes, they did kill her. But there are numerous moments throughout the movie that call back to that. They didn't just kill her and be done with it. Sorry. They didn't just kill her and be done with it. No, Yelena has history with Taskmaster. And they came back to that. Did you know her? She went through some trouble. Blah, blah, blah. She had a rough childhood. Killed people. And died. Just like we all will. Great line. Great line. Right? When she's talking to Ghost, I believe in the desert, she was asking about Taskmaster. Great line. Okay? Another thing that I loved was Bob. Okay? And Bob, he's Robert Reynolds, aka Sentry. And it was in somewhat of the marketing. You didn't really know that it was Bob because they just showed the Void. But they did the Void. They did Sentry really well. Bob is a very, very lovable character. He reminds me of Vision from the Avengers movies. Kind of like that lovable, like, dimwit. Yeah, he's fantastic in this movie. I loved everything that they did with him. You know, his backstory, man. When they go into the Void, and I'm gonna be jumping like from point to point here. I don't really have a structure, but I'm not gonna be talking directly about the whole plot. But when they go into the Void, and Yelena is looking for Bob, and she finds Bob in his consciousness, and he's sitting there upstairs of his house waiting for his parents to stop arguing downstairs, and he's just playing with his Rubik's Cube, and I'm just like, fuck, man, that hits. Because like he was abused. Man, dude. Yeah, just thinking about that. Like that eventually led him to becoming a drug addict. And like, him and Yelena have this really good conversation about, pushing everything down, right? When they're in the bunker and she's talking about how, what do you do with that void? And she's like, just push it down. And she like jokes about it. She's like, yeah, you just push it down, ignore it. And she's joking about it. And that comes back to when she finds him in the void, in his consciousness, in the recreation of his childhood bedroom where he was abused by his father. That was awesome, man. I love the fact that they gave... He is one of the most powerful Marvel heroes. And they gave him a good backstory. They gave him a really nice backstory to go with those powers. He's not just a very powerful being, but he has like a human side to him. And yeah, that's the whole point of the Void in general in this movie. Now, okay. Another thing I really did enjoy was Red Guardian. Red Guardian, he's a fan favorite for sure. Did I love him in Black Widow? Not necessarily. I thought he's pretty funny. In this movie, I feel like they struck a good balance between super goofy and a very lovable, heartwarming character because of that relationship that he has with Yelena, or who he calls Lena in the movie. And it's basically his daughter. And I feel like that really helped both characters. Yes, Red Guardian, he can be extremely goofy. He can be extremely, extremely silly at times in this movie. But those serious moments when he's talking to Yelena in the very beginning at his house, and then later down the line, after they get their ass kicked by Sentry and she has to talk to, David Harbour's Red Guardian is chasing down Yelena, trying to talk to her. And they have a very heartwarming conversation, and Yelena is just like, Daddy, I'm so alone. And the way that she delivers that line, to me, was perfect because it felt like she finally let something out that she has been holding in the entire movie. Her entire life, really. But the entire movie, it felt like she wanted to say something but didn't know how. And then in that moment, she lets it out. And the great thing about that scene too is that it doesn't end on a joke. Like Red Guardian, he talks to her and says, "Do you know the reason why you wanted to play goalie?" And it is kind of funny. You know, Yelena replies with, "Because I didn't want to run. I didn't want to run as much." And Red Guardian says, "That too. But you said you wanted to be the one that everybody else could count on." And they have a very somber moment. They have a very nice moment. And I just feel like those kind of interactions are what made the Marvel Cinematic Universe what it is. That's what made it good. Character interactions exactly like that. Oh man. Sorry, I'm replying to a text. That's unprofessional. Yeah, so I love how everything played out. Okay. The first hour and a half of the movie, is basically them. It's like a linear story, which I like. They go from the bunker, they escape the bunker, they figure out what to do next, they figure out what's happening with Bob, and then they have to go regroup, and Bucky captures them, and then by the way, Bucky is great in this movie too. And then they're figuring out things that are happening with Valentina. And then, yeah, it's like a linear story that like kind of follows through the entire way. And that's why I feel like the pacing of this movie was so good, is because the story kind of warranted for like a linear progression of events. And I also feel like they stuck the landing in the ending because the whole movie was really exploring the mental aspect of these characters, right? And not pushing your void down, like Yelena said in the bunker, to Bob. And Bob is kind of like the, how do you say it? Bob is, how do you say it? I don't even know how to say it. Bob is the reason why everybody decides to kind of face their fears, enter the void, and face their problems. That's the whole point of this movie. Facing your problems, facing your past, facing your issues, whatever. You can't run from it because Elena is literally running from her problems. And then it all comes full circle in the end. You can't run from your problems. You have to face them. Bob is facing his issues at the end, and he finally overcomes the void. And everybody in New York City is returned to normal. What did Spider-Man see? When Spider-Man was voided, what the fuck did he see? He had to relive Aunt May dying. He had to relive Tony Stark dying. He had to relive him finding out that he can't, what do you call it? He can't see his friends anymore. He had to relive that moment. He had to relive Uncle Ben dying, probably, if there even is an Uncle Ben in the MCU. Anyway, okay, that's my Spider-Man rant. But that's a great story, man. I think that was a great story. All right, I want to talk about, before I get out of here, I want to talk about the title change. Because the post-credit scenes, at the end of the movie, we find out that Valentina pulled a little switcheroo. Instead of, and this is I really like this. Her plan for Sentry, for showing off Sentry and killing these Thunderbolts, these group of mercenaries, didn't work out. Right? So instead, she pivots, and she already has the media there, and she pivots, and she's like, welcome, our new Avengers. And they look there, and Yelena, her line to Valentina at the very end is, "We own you now." Because originally, she was going to be like, "We're not the new Avengers." Like, no, Valentina is alive, but nope. We own you now. That's great. That's great. So yes, they are the new Avengers. A lot of people were asking what the asterisk was. There it is. It's the new Avengers. And it is, you know what? Is it kind of corny? Yeah, a little bit. I don't think they're not the actual new Avengers. Okay, because if you watch the credits, there's a lot of artwork and stuff showing like newspaper clippings saying, "Oh, what? They're not the new Avengers. I actually kind of like them. The B-Vengers, they're supposed to save us." Like, there's a lot of hysteria when it comes to them actually being the new Avengers. I think it's just a plot point for the setup. These guys aren't going to. They're gonna be Avengers. They're not the actual new Team 1, Team A Avengers team. That's just for plot reasons. I thought that was really cool, though, that they actually did say they are the new Avengers. I'm going to bring up a picture here, if I may, because I thought it was really, really funny that they're actually doing this. But let me see if I can get it up here. That's what she said, or that's what he said. That's what the old man said. All right, let me see if I can get this up here. Sorry, guys. I hate producing by myself. That's also what she said. All right, let me see if I can get this up here. All right. So you can see right here on the screen, Marvel's Studios, Thunderbolts with a little slash through it. The new Avengers is now playing. I thought that was really cool. They're adding it into the marketing. And I mean, did they do it a little bit fast? Yeah, it's literally the first week. They started doing this on Saturday. But yeah, I thought it was actually pretty cool because like that kind of fits into the marketing. Who knows? We'll see what this title change, quote unquote, does, because I really do think they're not actually changing the title. I think they're just doing this marketing wise. Like the movie's still going to be called Thunderbolts. I saw people I don't know. I saw people on Twitter saying like, how do you guys rank the Avengers movies, and put Avengers Age of Ultron, Avengers Infinity War, Avengers Endgame, the new Avengers, Avengers Doomsday, and Avengers Secret Wars. Like, this is not, they're not, no. Don't do that. This is Thunderbolts. This movie is Thunderbolts. This is strictly for marketing purposes. And for marketing purposes, I think it's cool. Because they're like, what? They're the new event. Like, anybody who sees this poster, they're going to be like, what? They're the new Avengers? Really? And then they go watch this movie and they're like, oh, fuck. And then they see the end. So, yes, I think it's for marketing purposes only. I don't think they're the actual new Avengers, but we'll see, man. Because I feel like both Avengers are going to, they're going to, what is this? They're going to join. They're gonna join together. They're all gonna be Avengers. They're all fucking Avengers. Yeah. So that's a great ending, I think, and it really sets us up for the future of the MCU. And speaking of the future of the MCU, our second last post-credit scene. Again, the post-credit scene is talking about the new Avengers. Their struggle with Sam Wilson and whatever, about the Avengers name or something. It's a stupid little joke. It's funny. They're gonna fix it by the time Doomsday rolls around. They're not really gonna be the new Avengers. They're not gonna be the Avengers with a Z. They're just all gonna be Avengers. Okay. But then they receive a distress signal from an interdimensional spacecraft with a large 4 emblem. We got Fantastic Four coming. This feels like a post-credit scene out of Phase 1, Phase 2, Phase 3. Because it used to be like the end credit scene leads into the next movie. And that end credit scene leads into the next movie. And that end credit scene leads into the next movie. You know what I mean? Like I feel like we are back to old Marvel. And it feels very good. We are back to old Marvel. So yeah, clearly we're getting a setup. This post-credit scene was 14 months later from the end of the movie. So time has passed. And we're going to go straight into Doomsday, basically. This is like a scene out of Doomsday. Okay, so because it was confirmed that Anthony and Joe Russo, they directed that scene. So that's basically a scene out of Avengers Doomsday. And the Fantastic Four, we're going to see that, in July, and we're going to, we're getting pieces put together finally. It felt so, it feels like it's been so long since we have had something like that. It's been so long since we've had, continuity in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. At least it felt like. Because even Captain America Brave New World, that end credit scene, oh, you don't know, there's other universes out there. What does that set up? We fucking know. We know there's more universes. What the fuck does that set up? What is that supposed to do for me? Right? At least in this, we get the little 4 symbol. We get our little nerd moment like, oh my God, Fantastic Four. And then we realize, okay, Thunderbolts, we're good now. We can look on forward. And we have Fantastic Four, and we still have that post-credit scene in mind. Like, we can connect these movies in our minds. You couldn't really do that before. Like what are we doing with Doctor Strange? We haven't gotten an answer from that. What is happening with Shang-Chi and that post-credit scene? What's happening with those rings? You know what I mean? So what they should have been doing this entire time, and I'm going on a rant. I'm going to finish up in a little bit. What they should have been doing this entire time is planting those seeds in the post-credit scenes like they've been doing from Phase 1 to Phase 3. So, overall, guys, what do I think about Thunderbolts? I really, really, really enjoyed it. That's going to do it for our spoiler discussion.